Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be if she tells you that she's messed up, believe her. Well, as the late great Maya Angelou said, when somebody tells you who they are or they show you who they are, you should believe them the first time. And so this particular email is from a guy, he's 40, and he's been following my work for about 3 years, he says. And at a previous job of his, he started he started working with and then hooking up with a girl who's 22 and working on her master's degree. And so initially she's like, well, you're not really my type. But they kept seeing each other for about 4 months. And then one day he woke up, he's like, the boss I work for is an asshole, they're toxic. And he just quit. And then once she found out, she's like, well, I'm really going to miss you. It's not going to be as much fun without you. And then shortly after that, she just completely ghosted him. He's like, what the hell? And then so he waited about 30 days and then reached out again. And he's kind of like, hey, what happened? And so she apologized. She said it was rude and really cruel. And they talked, but she ended up saying, oh, I'm really messed up. I'm dysfunctional. Then tells him she was abused and she's got all these problems. And the idea is that you're, as a man, and you want a relationship, what you should focus on is getting to a happy place first. Build a great life and a great lifestyle for yourself. A lifestyle and a social life that you're proud of and that you're happy with and that brings you great joy and makes you happy. And most importantly, makes you smile a lot. Because then when you get to a happy place, then you can find somebody else who's also in a happy place and they've done whatever work they need to do on themselves to be somebody that is happy, whole, and complete and ready, willing, able, and open to dating you. So you can share your completeness, not show up and be two broken people that are trying to fix themselves. And if they get together, then being with that other person is what's going to make them happy. It's like you got to get to a happy place first. And then you can share your happiness and share your completeness with one another. Because you can't give away what you don't already have for yourself. So with that in mind, let's go through his email. Because even though they talked, it didn't really go anywhere. And afterwards, he was just like, I wasn't expecting to hear that. And I wrote about something similar in my book. Like one of my girlfriends from many, many years ago, we were out on a date. I think it was our first date or our second date. I can't remember. And she said to me, this was our second date actually. She said, I fuck all my relationships up. I could see her face, her beautiful, gorgeous face, her beautiful green eyes looking at me and saying that. But I was in like, I love this girl's so perfect. This is a dream girl. Love at first sight. I just heard that and I'm like, I can work with this, no big deal. I'm not worried about that a bit. This is going to be amazing. And sure enough, she was very difficult at times. She messed things up. She displayed a lot of passive aggressive type of behavior. And so when women tell you that they're Fruit Loops or they're screwballs, you should believe them the first time. Because this guy is scratching his head going like, I don't understand what happened. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, keep in mind, she's 22. And he initially was like, wow, she's really mature for her age. But her behavior and then saying how messed up she is, when you're 40 years old, it's like you don't really want to deal with that. Ideally, maybe this girl would be great when she's 25, 27 years old. Maybe she gets some therapy, does some work on herself, and really gets to a good, happy place because she doesn't sound like she's in a good, happy place. And if you are and you're trying to have a relationship with a broken person, it's not going to be easy and effortless. I mean, this guy thought things were sailing along fine, and all he does is leave his job. And then now all of a sudden, she just ghosts him completely. And you would think after 4 months, if he's been following me this long, that she wouldn't just disappear like that. So maybe he misread the situation, or we really should just take her at her word when she says she's really messed up, because she goes into detail, and we'll get to that later as we go through the email. So he says, Dear Coach, I've been following your work for around 3 years now, and I've read your book around 3 times, and I have the audio version, and I've read that or listened to that 4 times, and I'm in my seventh read of the book total. In between this, I had an opportunity for a relationship with a much younger coworker who joined my company. I was in a slightly superior role and helped show her the ropes. We became friends pretty fast, and I was always professional but included a little under the radar, flirty, playful presence with her, and we clicked and really just got along. You know what's interesting? I think one of the biggest places where people meet is at work, which is pretty fascinating. When people are like, "Hey, how'd you guys meet?" Couples that got together, work is like top 5. But it's the Me Too era, and you gotta be careful. You gotta be tactful. So let's see how this guy handled that, because he's kind of her boss. She's much younger. There's obviously chemistry, and so like, how did he make the transition from being her boss to dating her? So she was studying for a master's degree at university, and so was very intelligent and seemingly very mature for her age, as well as naturally very beautiful. I was flattered, and even our coworkers suggested to us both that we would make a great couple. I look good for my age, I work out, and I keep myself youthful in my personality, dress style, and I generally look after myself. So here's a key piece of evidence as to why she disappeared almost as quickly as she came into his life. So when they met, she was in a relationship. So he says she was about to break up with her boyfriend, and the night after she did, I messaged her on WhatsApp suggesting we go for a drink. It's like, damn, he didn't waste any time. So that's pretty bold to do something like that, because if it's misinterpreted, again, it's like it depends on the context of their interactions, but it seems like there was a lot of interactions, and she was probably giving him indicators of interest, playing with her hair, touching his arm, laughing at all his jokes. Maybe she was reaching out to him and texting him outside business hours. I mean, they are on WhatsApp. It's not texting. So he said, hey, let's go have a drink. And so she just broke up with somebody. So she's definitely on the rebound. And so that's a very fortuitous time to slide in there. But like I said, I don't know the context of their conversations, but it worked out in his favor. That's pretty bold to do it that way. And typically how I would do it in these situations is like if you're working in a normal corporate type thing, it's you invite her to join you, or you go out as a group with other people from work. Or if you're chatting and you're like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And then you tell her, she tells you, oh, I'm going out with my girlfriends. We're going to this place. Oh, yeah, well, my friends and I were going to be down the street at this other venue. It's like, maybe we can all meet up. Here, take my number. And when you guys are down there, shoot us a text and let us know where you are. And if we can, maybe we all meet up together and hang out or have a drink together. That'd be fun. And if the girl likes you, she's like, oh, yeah, and she'll take the number. And if she doesn't, she'll say, oh, yeah, I'll do that. And then she'll never ask you for the number. So it's just a very low-risk way to do it, but I don't know how their numbers were exchanged, but there was a lot of chit-chatting and talking, and she had a boyfriend, but you see how quickly he slid in there. I mean, literally the day after the breakup happened, he's like, hey, let's meet for a drink. So she agreed, and we went out to several places for drinks, and I never told her exactly where we were going. And because we knew each other, she let me pick her up and went along with me. Yeah, well, she obviously felt safe with you. So enough rapport had been created at work and through whatever their interactions over text or WhatsApp had been. So obviously she was letting him know about her romantic situation, so they probably broached the subject. So he says, at the third bar and us having a great time, I went in for a kiss and she loved it but acted super surprised. And she said, wow, I didn't expect that. He says, I smiled at her and said, of course you did, but you didn't expect this. And he went straight for another passionate kiss. We were in a small corner of the bar in a booth, and no one could see us, and by this time I could tell she was so into me. So I suggested we head back to my place and open some wine. Ha ha. That's the trial close. He went to 3 different places. It's like 3 different dates. Remember, she just had a breakup. She's on the rebound. If she was the one that got dumped, she was feeling pretty shitty. But women know that, hey, if it doesn't work out, just get on another horse, literally. So he says, bedroom Olympics soon occurred, and it was amazing. She said something like, oh, let's just agree that this is a one-time thing. In other words, don't get too attached. I'm just a drifter. I'm just passing through. So he says, just before, and I didn't reply, but I was certain that this was a shit test. Well, it's just indicative of how she was feeling. She could probably tell that you were really digging her. Probably a little more she was digging you. Because remember, she just got broken up with. I don't know if she did the dumping or not. He didn't say. But if she did get dumped, remember, rejection breeds obsession. And you made her feel good. And it was a nice rebound, a nice evening of rebound sex to help her with her grief therapy. It was very gentlemanly of you. She stayed over, and the next day I drove her home a few blocks from where I live. She said in the car that I wasn't her type and just responded, oh, well, I certainly must be magical because I was so... Oh, this is him. My bad. Wrong voice. So he says, oh, well, I certainly must be magical because I was so your type last night. And she giggled. That's a great comeback. You always want to have a better, more playful comeback, especially if she says something like, oh, you're too old for me, or you're so much older. It's like, well, you didn't seem to mind last night when you had your tongue down my throat. Little Miss Innocent. He says, we kissed, and I saw her into her house, and drove home with the biggest smile on my face. We dated around 4 months, and I would see her once a week, either on a date or have her come over for wine and movies or to cook with me. And we spent Christmas together. We first started dating on Halloween. And last month, in March, I suddenly left the company we worked in as the place had gotten toxic, and I only really hung about there because of this girl. She messaged me about being sad that I left and said that things won't be as fun. I replied, then she ghosted me for weeks. I then remember, she just broke up with that guy. So now he's out of the picture. Does it look like, so I don't know how long she was with this other dude. So if she was with the previous ex-boyfriend for a couple of years and then she literally goes from being in a relationship with him to the very next day, you're asking her out on a drink and then you're hooking up with her like within 2 days. And now all of a sudden it's like a relationship. So she took the intimacy she had with the other guy and, in essence, replaced her ex-boyfriend with you and didn't take any time to heal. And so the fact that she just all of a sudden dipped tells me that she probably wasn't as into this guy as he thought. And she bounced back to the ex potentially, because that's kind of what it looks like. For her just all of a sudden go cold like that. But there's more. So he says, I did no contact for around 30 days. Then I just sent a little message that I hope she was doing well. I didn't know what happened, but if she was upset, I left the job without telling her, then that wasn't the case. I just woke up one day and thought, I can't go back to the place. Our boss is just too toxic. I ended with suggesting if she changes her mind in the future and wants to meet for a drink out somewhere anytime to let me know. Well, you should be meeting out for drinks. If you're following what's in 7 Principles to get an ex back, she should be coming to your place to make dinner in the evening together if she reaches out to you. But when a woman ghosts you, you don't keep chasing after her. Because that's, number one, it's rude. You spent 4 months together, and then she just stops replying to your texts for a month. It's like, I would have never reached back out to her. I mean, that's extremely fucking rude. And again, you got to keep in mind, you jumped right into a relationship with her, in essence. It doesn't sound like they were exclusive, but she was on the rebound. So women like that, they're drifters. They're just kind of passing through. Their emotions are going to be all over the place. So you're not going to get normal, consistent behavior typically with somebody that literally was with one guy and then 2 days later she's sleeping with you. So that's to be expected. It is in the book. It warns you about that. But, you know, if she's hot, you're willing to roll the dice. It's like whatever. Put your big boy pants on. It's your life. Make your own decisions and make up your own mind about things. My goal is, as a coach, is to help you get what you want. And then it's up to you to decide, if you still want it. So he says, this isn't what you teach, but I took a calculated risk and didn't care if she responded or not. Oh, you cared. I mean, you took all this time to write this email. You cared. I had a new job and was focusing on my life and meeting plenty of girls as I was working in a busy bar in the city. She then replied saying that she was sorry. It was nothing to do with me. It's not you, it's me. She had been really depressed and isolated herself because some past sexual trauma resurfaced, and she found it hard to speak to me or any men about it. And plus, again, she just had the breakup. And on top of that, she's dealing with all these issues. And so when you hear a girl go, I'm a train wreck, I'm a mess, your attitude should be like, hey, I'm here for you. You know, you got your friends, your family, your therapist, or whatever. You know, when you feel ready, give me a call. When you hear something like that, that's not like, oh, I can't wait to see her again. You should be like, ooh, she's not really in a good place. Again, ready, willing, able, and open to dating you and having a relationship. And she clearly is not in that place. Again, she never got a chance to go through a breakup, take time to heal. And so now she's kind of dealing with her grief or whatever. In addition to, obviously, some other things. He says, but she was so sorry I got caught up in that and admitted it was cruel, a cruel thing to do to me. I replied the next afternoon that I understand and that I hope she is getting support with her problems and that she has family and female friends she can talk to. I let her know that I care for her and had been super busy working late at a new job, but if she wants to talk anytime, I'm here. Yeah, again, because when she's like, I'm a mess, I'm really screwed up, that's maybe when I was younger, I'd have been like, hey, I can work with this. But as I got older, and then you hear those things and you see those patterns, and it's like when a girl tells you she's messed up, especially trying to get into a relationship with a girl that was literally 24 hours before with some other guy, and now 24 hours later she's sleeping with you, she's on the rebound. You can't expect possibly that it's just going to go smoothly and easily and effortlessly. Most normal women, when they have a breakup from a major relationship, they're going to take months, maybe sometimes a year or so before they're ready to start dating again, and they're very selective. And so, again, her high interest might have just been because you were right. I mean, you literally, then within 24 hours, you were asking around on a date as soon as you found out she was single. You didn't wait. But that's the downside risk with dating women like this, is that they're all over the ice, hot and cold. And on top of that, this particular woman is kind of a mess. He says, it's been 24 hours, and I half expect she may reach out in a week or so, but I also can't get it off my mind that this is maybe an excuse or stalling tactic because she has someone else in the background. Well, if I was a bet man, I would have to assume she's still talking to the ex-boyfriend because probably he tried to come back, but by then she was already kind of with you because you're an older, more mature guy, hopefully. And now that she just disappeared like that because you weren't at the office anymore and she didn't see you much anymore, maybe he showed up and they decided to work things out because, again, she had more time in with that guy. So she was emotionally bonded with him and not with you. And maybe one of the reasons why she says she's such a mess is because everything that turned her off about the ex, it's still there. So getting back together with him and hooking up with him again probably has not been a lot of fun for her. It's been just full of the same chaos and drama that led to her breaking up with the guy the first time. He says maybe it's her ex or someone new, or she could genuinely be going through some mental stuff. Yeah, again, you want to date somebody that's normal and healthy, not a Fruit Loop, not somebody that's going through a mental breakdown or having all kinds of mental health issues. You want her to get past the mental health issues. You want her to get all that stuff fixed and get to a normal, healthy, balanced place where she's loving and enjoying her life. And when somebody's, got serious mental health issues, that's not somebody you should be going, oh, I can't wait to jump in a relationship with her. You should be going, if she gets over it, she can reach out. Because it's pretty rude for her to ghost you, and she admits it as well. But again, once you find out all this stuff, you shouldn't be going, ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see her again. I really like this girl, and usually I would have just moved on at the ghosting stage. What should I do in this case, Coach? I would do nothing. You told her to get in touch. You told her to go work on herself. And what she did was pretty rude. And the fact that she's basically telling you that she's a mess right now, this should not be something that should make you jumping fences to be with her. This should make you have some pause and go, I want to see what else is out there. I want a girl that's got her act together. Once she gets her shit together, she'll reach out. And if she does reach out in the future, assume she wants to see you and make a date. Because you don't chase after somebody who ghosts you. Simple as that. If you'd have just let her be, maybe she would have gone through a grieving period. She would have got her mental health in order. And then when she was ready, she would have reached back out. You never try to keep somebody that doesn't want to keep you, and you were trying to keep her. Probably you were shocked that she ghosted you, but, you should have been expecting that to happen because there was no time for her to heal at all. And you have to assume there's a good chance she went back to the other guy. That's the only reason a woman, when things are going well, will completely disappear from your life and ghost you just like she did. And if you start dating her again and she's still talking to the other guy, there's a good chance that, and she hasn't got her shit together yet, it'll probably happen again. She'll probably do the same shit again, just all of a sudden disappear. You have to let women come to you at their pace. And like I said, all the stuff that she's told you about herself, I wouldn't be, I can't wait to get in a relationship with her. Thank you for your work, Coach. It has been so much help to me navigating the dating war zone as a mature guy, and I like the stuff you do with the girls, too, who are women who really get it. Well, the girls are getting better because they've all read 3% Man. Well, most of them have, and some of them have read Mastering Yourself. So far, we've got Chunky's read it. He's been reading 3% Man since high school. We got Caroline's got through it. Jade's got through it. Erica's got through it. Jocelyn's kind of started, and then as far as Mastering Yourself, so far it's just Jade and Caroline have gotten through it. So Jade and Caroline are making Chunky look bad. He's not pulling his weight. Maybe you guys can break his balls in the comments about that. Tell him he needs to step up, be a man, lead by example. He's getting his ass kicked by 2 little girls. Chunky's over 6 feet. Caroline's like 5'2". Jade's like 4'8". That's what we call her, the leader of the garden gnome people. It's like, come on, Chunky, the girls are kicking your ass. So if you guys haven't joined our members only content, as I was talking about the girls going through the books, one of the paid members only podcasts that we're doing on a weekly basis is we have a 3% Man study group where we literally go page by page in the book. We answer the girls' questions. They troll me a little bit. They go into detail on some of the things maybe they learned or that they thought were profound. But the idea is for it to be a teaching tools with myself, with Chunky. We've got James Lilino, who we just released an episode this past week. He's formerly of Project Veritas fame. We had him on the podcast, 6-8 months ago, I think it was, last year sometime. And so he's going to be a regular contributor and coming probably once a month and filming with us. So you get the 3% Man podcast, you get the Mastering Yourself podcast, you get all the viewer question film days where we answer 10 or probably 12 to 15 viewer questions, and any special videos that we do. Plus, I do 6 additional video coaching newsletters per week for the members only. Obviously, you get the email analysis on the website. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, underneath in the video description, there is a link so you can join members only on YouTube. There's a link to join members only on Spotify. And if you decide to join members only on our website, you get a 25% discount when you pay the whole year in advance. Plus, you get the email analysis. So, again, right underneath the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, has the links, and you can join on whatever platform you so choose. And if you'd like to do a phone coaching session with me, you got a problem or a challenge you want my help with or my feedback on or my input on, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.